Hi guys, I'm Kasha. Welcome to the channel and welcome as always to our coffee times. Today we're here to talk about everything that I read in the month of April. If you have just noticed, I lost my voice yesterday and so I have been really quiet. I've been drinking a lot of warm things. I've been having a lot of those, you know, like little gummies for your throat. So hopefully I'm able to record all the videos that I want to record before I go on holidays. So bear with me and my tracker's voice. It is what it is, so we're just gonna have to roll with it.
It's coffee time.
So in today's video I'm going to talk about everything that I read in the month of April. Sadly, I only had time to read 6 things, but the good news is that I really enjoyed all of those things, which that is a win in my book. If you're new here, we love to rate here our books with coffee mugs, and also I'm going to start with the lowest rating to the highest, but honestly today I feel like everything is kind of at the same level, so let's start. I've mentioned on some of my other videos that I wanted to revisit some of Agatha Christie's stories because I remember reading them when I was younger, and I decided this month to pick up Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie because I've also recently watched the movie, which I would say is a little bit less interesting than the book, even though I did enjoy it, but I feel like you have to be a Agatha Christie fan to kind of see the charm of the film. But anyways, let's talk about the book, which curiously enough it is actually based on a true story that happened, and it is a classic detective story, a classic whodunit. Now Agatha Christie likes to kind of isolate her characters and put them in a situation where everybody's kind of trapped with the killer, which is also part of the charm and the thrill of her stories. Now here in this book you're gonna be presented with the facts, you are gonna be presented with the murder, the descriptions, you're gonna follow the interviews, you're going to be able to see everybody's theories and excuses, alibis, so that you can also kind of put the pieces of the puzzle together and see if you would be able to catch the killer. In this particular story, a murder has been committed on a train, and the train has stopped moving forward because there is a snowstorm, and they are all now trapped in the train with the dead body and the killer. So now we have to figure out who did it and why, basically. So this is a really easy to read book. Like, even though it's an older book, it is so engaging and so easy to read, and it's so entertaining because Hercule Poirot, which is our main detective, that you know, it's a detective in a lot of Agatha Christie's books, he is such a character, and I did feel like the movie kind of captured him a little bit. So if you love, this is going to be perfect for people that love whodunit, like the classical detective stories where a murder has been committed and you're going to be presented with all of the facts and you gotta figure out who done it. And this one has a really interesting and twisty reveal that a lot of people don't see coming. So if you're looking also to start with Agatha Christie, I would say that this one is actually a good way to start. Kidnap, Torture, Strangle by Declan Burnett, and this is a novella from the Rewind or Die series. This is number 33, and I got this one from NetGalley and I was really interested on it because I do love these Rewind or Die novellas. I think they're all really unique and interesting. This one in particular follows a serial killer on the loose and people trying to catch him. So of course it's completely down my alley because you guys know I love true crime and this kind of serial killer investigations. Now this novella can get really intense. There is a lot of physical violence and a lot of brutality, so you know, keep in mind that this is not a light read. So if you don't like your horror to be so brutal, maybe skip this one. I mean, the title kind of already tells you what's gonna happen. There's no spoiler there, but this is basically a story in which in a small town there has been a series of killings of young women, and our main characters are trying to figure out who is behind the murders so that, you know, they can stop this guy before he kills somebody else. And you, in a way, you're also kind of trying to figure out who has done this as you are getting to know all the different characters in this town. So for me it was really engaging and interesting, also I guess because I do like the theme of, you know, serial killers and stuff like that. But again, like I said, it is kind of brutal, so it's gonna be perfect for people that, like me, enjoy serial killer books or stories about serial killers in a small town specifically, and people that don't mind a little bit of, you know, violence and brutality in their horror. Next, I have a book that is going to be perfect for people that want to start reading a little bit more of horror and they don't really know where to start, or they don't know if they would like to go for a middle grade or a YA, because I feel like this one is kind of in between, and that is Mine by Delilah S. Dawson. And this is such a good, engaging story for younger readers, and I really did enjoy this one more than I thought. This was for me kind of a cover buy, because I mean, come on, and I went to it, you know, without many expectations, and it ended up surprising me. This is a perfect ghost summer story. It has a great setting, it is atmospheric, and it does kind of follow the patterns of your typical ghost story, but it also has really good messages. So I feel like this one is kind of in between middle grade and YA, but it's definitely one for people that love their horror not too bloody or gory. They're just looking for a nice atmospheric ghost story. This is kind of a little bit kind of different way of telling a ghost story, or way of interpreting what ghosts are. And it's also a book that ends up their chapters with a cliffhanger, so you kind of want to keep going. So it's really good when it comes to keeping you hooked and reading. Lily's family had to look for a new job, so that's why they end up moving, and she's really, you know, sad about it, because she had all her friends and she was going to theater school and theater plays, and now she's in the middle of nowhere in this mansion that needs a lot of work because it's basically just a mess, and they have to clean it and restore it, and she's just not looking forward to spend her summer fixing this house in this stinky lake, and, you know, not knowing anybody. So needless to say, Lily is not amused. And on top of that, she starts to feel like there is this kind of presence following her, and she will need to figure out what's going on in that mansion. This is going to be perfect for people that are looking for an atmospheric ghost story set on the summer that really has that kind of lake, sweaty summer feel, and a ghost story that it is a little bit different, because like I said, it does feed on, you know, some family secrets, but also has really good messages to bring across. And I really felt the characters were really well written and they were believable. So if you're looking for this type of book, maybe it's going to be your next horror summer read. Next, we have Wicked Little Deeds by Kat Ellis. So I really did enjoy Harrow Lake, her other novel, and I decided to pick up this one, and I am so glad that I did, because I did ended up enjoying this one a little bit more. And this was the perfect, well-crafted YA mystery thriller with a lot of spookiness to it, and it was really hard to put this one down. It is a little bit chunky, I mean, not too much, but I just wanted to keep reading and keep reading. Ava has lost everything that she had and that she loved, and now she has to start a new chapter in her life with a little bit of uncertainty, and ends up moving with her uncle. On top of that, people in town are starting to be murdered, and they kind of suspect that the same person is behind of all of these murders. The story, as well as the characters, just felt so believable, so real. I was really feeling for them, rooting for them, and I was trying also to figure out the mystery with them. And this is a great book that has a great atmospheric setting as well in this mansion. It also follows the town's legends, the town's secrets, family secrets. So it's kind of like a mystery thriller with a lot of horror elements added to it. This twisty YA thriller is going to be perfect for people that are looking for a cozy thriller with some horror to it for a rainy day. And yeah, if you're looking for something that it is kind of like a supernatural tale combined with a mystery thriller, and you are looking for something atmospheric and something with secrets and legends, I mean, it has everything actually that you want from a mystery thriller. This one is going to be perfect for you. It does have some more horror elements at times. Things are being described that can be a little bit more on the horror side, but it's nothing, I feel like it's too much. So definitely pick it up if you're looking for YA thrillers with some horror in it. the book of Cold Cases by Simon St. James. You guys know I was dying to get to this one, to read it. I haven't even hold it, I think, for you guys yet, but I just had to read it because I really love the Sundown Motel. Now, what I can tell you is that I didn't love this one as much, but I still really enjoyed it. And I feel like this one is more targeted to a very specific audience, which it happens to be me, which is people that love true crime and stories like that. So I feel like this is not going to be for everybody. If you're looking to pick up something by the author, I would recommend you still to start with the Sundown Motel and see how that one works for you. I feel like the writing style and the way that the chapters are divided and stuff is very similar to the Sundown Motel, but the story is different, and this one felt a lot more slow paced. So the story does take a long time to take off, and it is told kind of like a slower pace. So I do understand why many people could not really you know, fell in love with this one. So we follow Shia, and she has this passion for true crime and true crime stories. So she has this blog, and she spends a lot of time there writing articles about cold cases, true crime stories, anything she can find. And that is basically her passion apart from her regular job. And one day she gets the opportunity to interview Beth, a woman that was basically accused and then acquitted of committing 2 crimes back in the late 70s. So you're gonna follow both characters. It is a dual perspective. You're gonna have chapters from Beth's perspective and chapters from Shia's perspective, and also you're gonna jump back and forth to the past, like to the late 70s where the murders happened, and to the present. So the story is told in that way, which I know a lot of people don't like, but I do enjoy that kind of dual line and jumps in time. And you're gonna have to find out what happened in the 70s, who was actually responsible for the crimes, was Beth actually guilty, was she not? And the moment that Shia goes to this interview with Beth, her life's gonna change forever, and she's gonna go through a lot. Like I said, I really enjoyed it, but partly because I do love true crime and this type of stories, but I get why a lot of people cannot get into this book, especially the way that it is edited and the way that it is really slow paced at the beginning. Now, the only thing that I would criticize, it's not really a critique, but something that for me was a little bit missing, was that we don't really get to see too much about the blog posts and the articles that she is writing for her website, which I would have loved to see a lot more of. And one of my favorite things that I read in the month of April is, no surprise for anybody, You've Lost a Lot of Blood by Eric LaRocca. Now, this is an author that I've mentioned before, writes kind of a very specific type of horror. Is strange, is bizarre, and it's not gonna be for everybody, but these are the type of novellas that after I read them, I'm like, what the heck did I just read? And I kind of love that. This is such a different take on horror than his other novellas, and I think that's something that I also appreciate from him, is that he's taking me into these very different journeys. They're all unexpected, they're all horrific, they're all disturbing, and I'm here for it. Now, there is not too much I can tell you about the plot because I feel like it's gonna spoil a lot of things, that it is a lot more fun if you discover it yourself and you go into this wild roller coaster that it is the writing of Eric. But I will tell you that this is a novella within a novella, and I really enjoy the editing. I feel like that was actually some of the critique that a lot of people gave, but I actually did enjoy it. So it might work for you, it might not. It is just a little bit different than his other novellas, but you know, that's what I also like, that he is giving me something a bit different. And definitely this story was something I was not ready for and I did not see coming. And you know, you gotta be ready to accept it. And his writing is beautiful. Nobody can say anything about that. The way that he writes horror is really poetic and it's really beautiful. And I love his characters, the representation, and I just really love that there's so many moments in his novellas that are just so uncomfortable. So yeah, I guess, you know, if you read something by Eric before, you know what you're getting yourself into. And I would still recommend you, if you've never read anything by Eric, to start with Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke, which is one of his most popular novellas that really blew up on Twitter, and I feel like it's really well deserved. So start with that one if you have not read anything by him and you would like to know if you are into his writing. Alright guys, so these are all the things that I read in the month of April and my thoughts on them. Let me know down below what you read in the month of April and what is the best thing that you read on April. I promise I'm gonna get to all of the comments. I'm super delayed with that, but it's been a lot that I've been trying to juggle and getting sick here and there. I don't know what's happening, but this is the year that I'm getting all of the colds that are going around. It's all for me, not sharing with anybody. So hopefully my voice is gonna, you know, hold on, because this is the first video that I have to record today, but I have other ones to prepare for when I am on holidays. So fingers crossed, and thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you all as always in our next coffee time. Bye.